request that all those who are standing behind the cattle flags to move to enable the ceremony to go on smoothly. The seventh Federal Party, the sixth Federal Party is now moving with the basket to the same cattle flag. Let's play the appropriate components as it has. We now have the seventh Federal Party moving to the tail of the aircraft for the 7 caskets.
On the 7th casket now,
After
indeed.
All the caskets have been retrieved from the aircraft, we'll hand over to the clergy to commence the religious aspects of this brief ceremony, where they will be saying prayers before movement of the bodies or the caskets to the morgue. We are all aware of today's unfortunate incident.
Good evening, Ghana. I am reporting
The 7th Federal Party moving with the caskets to the 7th cattle flag.
I'm reporting live from the Air Force Base at Bema Camp, where the nation stands still as the remains of the individuals who this afternoon were involved in the tragic helicopter crash are being brought in. We've seen 7 that has been moved out of the craft already, remaining 1 at the moment. The atmosphere here is heavy. You can feel the sorrow in the air as officers, relatives, and dignitaries gather to receive the fallen. The caskets draped in the red, gold, green, and black star of the Ghanaian flag are being offloaded one by one in a slow, dignified ceremony marked by tears and salute. Among the deceased are 2 sitting ministers, Defense Minister Dr. Edward Omani Buama, and the Minister for Environment, Science and Technology, Dr. Ibrahim Mutala Mohammed. The loss is being deeply felt not only within the security services, but across the entire country. Military personnel stand motionless, just so you can see, their eyes fixed ahead, many visibly emotional, and I can clearly see some with tears dropping off their eyes as they're still struggling to comprehend with the situation. Families of the fallen are held nearby, some weeping openly
being moved from the aircraft.
Others simply staring in disbelief. The grief-stricken officer told me moments ago, whilst I was having a conversation with me, that this is one of the darkest days in their recent history. He made mention of the fact that they've lost leaders, mentors, and brothers in arms. You can all recall that earlier today, the Z9 military helicopter crashed in the forested area of Adanse Ekrofum in the Ashanti region, while reportedly on an official assignment that investigations into the cause are still underway, which we'll definitely be keeping an eye on here on TV3 and running details with you as they unfold.
The firing party will move to for the clergy to commence the next phase of today's brief ceremony.
As night falls here at Burma Camp, the skies obviously darker. There's a somber mood that settles across the base. The grief is much felt among all the individuals who have gathered here, and the entire country mourns not just the loss of one of their colleagues, which is an officer. Some of them the process of honoring since the news broke on the internet was thrown into a state of shock and disbelief, trying to comprehend with this really hard feeling to even if just like see on your screens
Well, so this is the solemn moment, and it's just going to be a short ceremony. You've seen the Chief of Staff, Julius Debra, also the Minister in charge of Education, Tamale South Member of Parliament, Haruna Idrisu. You've seen Joyce Bawa Mokhtari as well, and some top government officials, plus the family members of these fallen heroes. We will cross over back to the Air Force Base, where this brief Muslim, that's an Islamic and Christian ceremony is taking place as we speak. And that's going to be the final part of the reception of these remains of the 8 gallant Ghanaians, 8 fallen heroes on this wicked Wednesday who died in the line of duty. Let's cross over now.
We have worshipped you. We have served you. We have served your nation. You will die in the line of duty. As the line here, we pray for your mercies. We pray. We forgive you. We forgive you. Make the heaven your final abode. اللهم اغفر لجميع موتى المسلمين الذين شهدوا لك بالوحدانية ولنبيك بالرسالة وماتوا على ذلك. اللهم اغفر لهم وارحمهم واغفرهم واعف عنهم واكرم نزلهم واكسر مكانهم واكسر بالمال والثلج والبرد واكتبهم من الذنوب والمكان كما ينقى الثوب الابيض من الدنس. وإن كانوا محسنين فزد إحسانهم وإن كانوا مسيئين يتجاوز عن سيئاتهم. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله
This, what you're seeing right now is the Islamic ceremony, a short one, to also draw down the curtains on this rather sad moment for the Christian ceremony as well. We have in the video right now a priest who, as we've seen, offering a prayer for the families and the souls of these 8 fallen heroes. These persons, they're not just people with names or statistics. They have families, they have friends, their family members, friends, loved ones are wailing. And just as the nation is wailing as we speak, this is a moment of heaviness, of mourning, and reflection. These 8 fallen heroes died in the line of duty. They were to attend the launch of one of government's initiatives to fight illegal mining, Galamsey, before this tragic incident befell them. We're talking about Dr. Edward Omanebwama, the Minister for Defense, Dr. Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed, Minister of Environment, Science and Technology, Dr. Samuel Sapon, National Vice Chair of the NDC, one-time Mayor of the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly, and one-time Ashanti Regional Minister as well, Flying Officer Chum Ampedu, and Mr. Samuel Abuaji, a former parliamentary candidate of the NDC, Alhaj Muniru Muhammad, Acting Deputy National Security Coordinator, and Squadron Leader Peter Anala, who was the pilot of this helicopter that crashed, and Sergeant Ernest Ado Mensah. So the caskets you see draped in the official colors of the Republic of Ghana, the Ghana flag, red, gold, green, with a black star. These are the identities of the remains of these persons in these caskets. When I stand shortly, the caskets will be lifted and their remains will be dispatched to the mortuary. The Ghana Armed Forces, in the statement earlier, indicated that a helicopter Z9 took off earlier this morning at 9:12 a.m. from Accra en route to Obuasi, crashed in the general area of Sikaman, Profedru, near Adanse Akrofo in the Ashanti region, and all on board are confirmed dead. The Ghana Armed Forces regret to announce the crew, as we have put their names out: Squadron Leader Peter Bafemi Anala, Flying Officer Manian Chum Ampedu, and Sergeant Ernest Adomensa. The passengers: Dr. Edward Omanebwama, Minister for Defense; Alhaj Dr. Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed, Minister of Environment, Science and Technology; Alhaj Muniru Muhammad, Acting Deputy National Security Coordinator; Dr. Samuel Sapon, Vice Chair, the NDC; and Samuel Abuaji, former parliamentary candidate. We cross over back to the Air Force Base as we see these caskets with the remains of these 8 fallen heroes being lifted into the waiting hearse.
Funeral parties will now go to the themselves in readiness to carry the next set of more coffins to funeral parties will now be off. Also, we have come to tonight's big ceremony. I want to say a big thank you to all of you gathered here, especially Stacy, Media Equivalent, CDS Service Chiefs, Joseph, Engineer Staff, all personnel here. Well done and thank you very much for coming. I want to request to announce to you that the beginning ceremony had a law, so we prepare to begin the ceremony for the reception of caskets of the Jesus Christ. First, we all come to the Mourns individuals days. Thank you very much.
We're coming to you live from the Air Force Base at Bema Camp in Accra. Just a moment ago, the remains of the 8 individuals who perished in the Z9 helicopter crashed earlier today touched down here at the base, and it was greeted not by applause or ceremony, but by mourning and tears from people who have gathered here. You saw earlier the caskets draped in Ghana's flag, a symbol of the nation. They served with dedication. The caskets were carefully lowered from the aircraft by officers. Their faces were hardened by discipline, but their eyes betraying the sorrow they carry within them. It was just so obvious. Some held back tears, others couldn't. There's heaviness in the air, one that words can truly not capture. Across the base here, loved ones, family, friends, colleagues are in solemn unity. You can clearly see others clashed, handkerchiefs on their mouths, trembling, trying to make sense of this cruel sudden loss. The pain here, I can clearly tell, is raw. The wounds are fresh, the entire base feels as tough, and words cannot really explain how the mood is around here. Among the falling, we all know are prominent figures in the nation's leadership, including Dr. Edward Omanema, Dr. Ibrahim Mutala Mohammed, Minister for Environment, Science, and Technology as well. The mood generally around the space where the ceremony has finally come to an end. It's something that we are not getting words to explain for you to understand how people are still struggling and trying to comprehend what exactly what is happening here. But just as brought our lessons here, we are dotted at the right places, trying to get some of the dignitaries who are currently leaving to bring you the updates here as well. Dr. Mane Buama, since taking office, had pushed for modernization of Ghana's military troops and prioritizing the work of personnel, who we all know was vocal on climate resilience and green innovation to push Ghana's sustainability agenda. Today, their ambitions are all drowned, but their dedication will be with us long after this moment. Some religious leaders earlier led a brief prayer here a short while ago, calling on Ghanaians to unite and also ensure to support families in this hard time. This tragedy kept in the region had a lot of questions across the country. Investigations are underway. Tonight is not about questions, it's about mourning, which will respect the night for that. The nation is in pain, and right here at Bema Camp, we are seeing that pain, hearing it in the ears, and feeling it in the silence between every salute and every tear. As the Ghana Armed Forces begin internal arrangements to honor the dead, it is clear that the coming days will be marked by national sorrow. Flags will fly at half past, tributes will pour in. But tonight at Bema Camp, we stand with families, the forces in shock, in grief, and in they are all in service to the motherland. My name is Godwin Asidiva, and I have been reporting live from the camp.
And that those faces defines the mood of a nation on this wicked Wednesday, black, dark Wednesday as we've experienced it. What you just saw there was the last of the moments of this brief ceremony at the Air Force Base here in Accra, where the remains of these 8 gallant Ghanaians are fallen heroes who died in the line of duty are being transported to the mortuary. 8 caskets. These individuals left home today, 8 living beings, but they have returned in caskets. That's a heavy blow for the nation. But these people, they have families, they have identities, they have friends, they have colleagues. We'll speak to a few of them shortly. These are the faces behind the remains in those caskets you saw draped in the Ghana flag. Dr. Edward Omaneboma, Minister, charge of Defense until today. Dr. Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed, Minister, charge of Environment, Science and Technology until hours ago. These two have that responsibility of joining hands with other ministers in the president's commitment to fight illegal mining. And so where they were going, the event they were attending was one of the many initiatives that this administration was putting in place to help fight illegal mining. It's an interministerial approach, and that's why you have these two. The Honorable Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, was already at the venue at this event. And so these two were also billed to join him. Unfortunately, their destination, which was at the program, was cut short. Dr. Samuel Sapong, who was a National Vice Chair of the NDC, one-time Ashanti Regional Minister, and Mayor of the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly, also gone. Flying Officer Chum Ampedu, he served his country well in this capacity in the Ghana Armed Forces, who was not alone in this. Squadron Leader Peter Anala, who was a pilot of this Z9 helicopter that went down, and Sergeant Ernest Ado Mensah. These were the officers on board. Of Mr. Samuel Abuaje, a parliamentary candidate, former parliamentary candidate of the NDC, and Alhaj Muniru Mohammed, an acting Deputy National Security Coordinator. This is a heavy loss to the nation. And rightly so, the President, John Dramani Mahama, has declared 3 days of mourning for these gallant heroes who we lost in the line of duty. Let's recall that responsibility that befell the Chief of Staff, Julius Deborah, earlier today at the Jubilee House, when we were all sitting on tenterhooks waiting for that official announcement of what exactly had happened. Take a look.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the President of the Republic, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, Vice President Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, who is with us here, and the government of Ghana, I have the unpleasant duty, sadly, to announce a national tragedy involving the crash of a military helicopter this morning around the Adansi area in Ashanti region. Government regrets to announce the demise of the following persons in the tragic crash. Dr. Edward Kofi Omaneboma, Minister for Defense. Alhaji Dr. Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed, MP, Minister for Environment, Science and Technology. Alhaji Muniru Mohammed Lemonad, Acting Deputy National Security Coordinator and former Minister for Food and Agriculture. Dr. Samuel Sapong, Vice Chairman of the National Democratic Congress, and Mr. Samuel Abuaje, a former parliamentary candidate. Squadron Leader Peter Bafemi Anala, Flying Officer Manin Chum Ampedu, and Sergeant Ernest Ado Mensah. The President and government extends our condolences and sympathies to the families of our comrades and the servicemen who died in service to the country. All flags are to fly at half-mast until further notice. Thank you.
Our State Chief of Staff, Julius Debra, there. After this announcement and putting up much more detail of what we had gotten earlier, the mood in the Jubilee House reflected the heaviness that the nation is feeling at the moment. We just want to give you an idea of what happened after this information that the Chief of Staff, Julius Debra, conveyed to the nation on behalf of the President. And the persons who were there could not hold back their tears, clearly reflecting the loss that the nation has been dealing with since the early hours of this afternoon. A number of ministers were summoned to the Jubilee House for this particular announcement. The Rose Minister, Governor Kwame Agboja, you see as well Fifi Fiavikwete, the General Secretary of the NDC. Behind him, John Jinapo, the Minister in charge of Energy and Green Transition. Also, Dr. Kasiela Toforsing, the Finance Minister. You see all of them were there earlier today. It's a big loss. And as I indicated, these persons have families who are mourning at the moment, reflecting exactly what the nation is going through. But let's connect to one man who worked closely with Dr. Edward Omanebuama prior to the 2024 elections. That is, Dr. Edward Omanebuama, the late. It's heavy to say, but that's the reality that we have to deal with. The late Dr. Edward Omanebuama was the Director of IT and Elections for the NDC ahead of the 2024 elections. And he was in charge, together with his team, of putting together the technological infrastructure for the NDC to be campaign ready and election ready. He was deputized by Rashid Tanko Computer as the Deputy Director of IT and Elections for the NDC. He's joining us on Zoom right now. Rashid Tanko Computer, good evening. Thank you for joining us. I know it's a heavy moment for you, as it is for all of us, but you work closely with Dr. Edward Omanebuama, not just as a boss, but also your relationship evolving to be friends. This is a wicked Wednesday for you, is it not?
Alfred, one of the darkest moments that I've ever seen is today. Very dark. Terrible Wednesday. I've seen deaths upon deaths. I've seen it, but this one, Alfred, no. This one, yes. It's so terrible. So terrible. Especially a person that you have chatted with in the morning, 7:45, concerning a project, gave you orders what to do, what you should do, and all that. He didn't even tell me he was traveling. Just finished chatting, and I was to give him a report after. Now, who am I going to give the report? This is terrible. I've never seen this. Such a brilliant person. I've met brains, but I can tell you, Omanebuama was having A+ brain. 2024, all the strategy, the master plan, everything was done by Omanebuama. Omanebuama did everything. Look, when you hear stuff and put out issues like that to counter the activities of the NPP and EC, it was from Omanebuama. Even to the extent when he was made the defense minister, he was still giving a direction as to how to handle the directorate. The example was Abdulkamanov. He was the brain behind all the strategy that led us to winning the Ablikwanov. This morning, before he even left for the trip, we were plotting Akotia. He gave us all the strategy, all the plan, and showed us what to do next and all that, and we're to report back to him. Now we lost him. Gone.
And we understand this helicopter took off in Accra at 9:12 a.m. this morning. You say that around 7:45 you had a conversation with him.
Yes, 7:45 just this morning. This morning. I still have it on my WhatsApp here. If I open it and show to you, you'll be shocked. That is life.
Indeed.
Terrible. So devastated. So devastated.
You reference a number of things that you've done together with him as the director of IT and elections for the NDC. But beyond that, I know that you've also done quite a number of things with him as well. Just give us some of those fond memories of the man whom we have lost, Dr. Edward Omanibuama, and indeed Dr. Murtala Mohammed as well, because you at some point also crossed paths with him.
Well, Alfred, all the people involved in the accident, except the crew members, the 5 senior government officials, have worked closely with each of them. But Dr. Manibono, of course, was more or less a boss, a friend, and a father. I can't still believe. I'm still looking at it as if it's a dream, something like a dream, because the man, I've met people, but this man, in the next world, I will still look for him. Dr. Manibono, in the next world, where we are going to meet again, I will still look for him and be his subordinate in the afterworld, because I know what I'm talking about. He wants a betterment for everybody. That's the type of person he was. When you are down, he will bring you up. When you are falling, he will try and bring you up. And fight you. Get up. Keep eye on the ball. Alfred, one of the things I will not forget was that dreadful day, the day the electoral commission came out with the register with that figures. They didn't have figures, they didn't have analysis. Dr. Manibuama told me I should keep my eye on it and I shouldn't shake, because this is the determinant of our victory. I should keep an eye on it. I will not forget this. And the body camera strategy. It's a strategy. We have not mentioned it to anybody up to now. All those doing body camera, they don't know the meaning. Just a few of us.
You mean the body cam
The body camera,
would have activate
the body camera.
But that was heard more from Malik Basintale. You say all of that was part of the strategy?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
That was deployed. It was a code.
Yes. You only need the tools from us to decode it. You cannot. And so we know what it's about. And he has the code. And he gave us some of the tools to use it. And it worked for us perfectly. That's why I'm saying that in the next world, I will still choose him. Look, Honorable Murtala was my junior in training college. I attended the same training college with him, but then he was my junior, was then the final year when he came in. And I knew him from that onset. So when he became an MP and all those kind of things, we worked closely together. He's a very passionate young man who wants the development of his constituency. He first being an MP in Nanton, and then Tamale Central. He's always, when he meets you, you'll be talking about the youth. You tell me, oh, computer, how are we going to do to get more job for our people up there? Let's do something about it. We're always discussing. Dr. Sapon, just yesterday at FEC, Functional Executive Committee meeting, he was our vice chairman. He came to me looking for laptops for his children. He said his grandchildren. I gave him 2 laptops. And yesterday at FEC meeting, he came. I always call my father and say, hey, I'll put this my son. I'll never forget of you. Look at what you have done for me. He was thanking me. Don't know that was the last time we meet after the fake meeting. When he was asked to go and join the team for this program today, not knowing that we're just rather telling him goodbye. Go and join. Such a fine gentleman. You remember he used to be the Serial Fraud Office Executive Director.
Yes.
That's one thing, yes. And then Ashanti Regional Minister.
He was one time mayor as well.
Yeah.
Mayor of the Commerce.
Mayor as well. Yes. It's such a look. Alani Limuna was the regional minister for Northern Region. At that time, I was then the director of elections and treasurer for NDC in the North. So we worked together closely because as director of election, I was confined with the minister always to prosecute the elections. So I know his pedigree. Before he was now moved to Agric. And later on, when His Excellency John Dramani Mahama established his farm up north, he was assisting in managing the farm for His Excellency. He just got his appointment not more than 3 weeks ago. He was just appointed as the Deputy National Coordinator for National Security Coordinator. Such a nice brain. And then Abuaji, who was then our candidate for Obuasi East, as well as Deputy National NABMO Director. You didn't know, he's a current Deputy Director of NABMO, Director General NABMO. Such a nice young man. You remember the issue about the elections, the Obuasi East election petition matter that we're dealing with. He didn't came to Tesano. He was the one we're fighting to get elected in that constituency. It's unfortunate we lost such fine brains. One of the darkest moments in this country. One of the darkest. I've not seen this before.
You said the late Samuel Abaje is the current Deputy National Coordinator of the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO. That's what you said.
Yes. Yeah, he works in NADMO. Yes. Samuel Abaje. I mean, it's terrible. I mean, these are fine brains who have the passion of the country at heart. They want the development of the country, and they died in line of action. I mean, the whole day has been terrible for me.